account executive for EMEA, and also led the charge as regional lead for UAE and KSA DTC Force. A sought-after speaker and true brand ambassador, Jennifer doesn't just speak English. French, Italian, Russian, she's fluent in the language of retail across languages. Let's give a big round of applause for Jennifer Greco. And that's our panel for this evening. Over to you.
Wow, can we just give a round of applause for Gitika for such an incredible introduction? You know, I thought these days we write all these introductions with ChatGPT, but this definitely was a human touch, I must admit. And you know, I thought I know most of these ladies already, but I definitely learned a lot from this intro. So, what an incredible opportunity to have all females on stage. I just came out of Seamless, and I can tell you that it took a while to fight, you know, across the whole retail scene just to get one female on stage for each panel. And here we go. Durham somehow manages to get not just incredible powerhouses in retail, but look how coordinated all of us are, you know. So whatever photos they have for this event, you know, it will be bright on LinkedIn for sure tomorrow. You can immediately add a link to register for the next event, you know. So it will hit all the impressions you can ever imagine. So welcome, ladies, to the stage. You know, it's honestly great to see so many familiar faces, and I think we are about to embrace the awesome 40 minutes of the conversation. I think, as always, you know, for any of you that sat on any of my panels, you know that Lena sends like very detailed questions in advance and very prepared in order. But what I would like to say that for the next 40 minutes, whatever the subject is, I think we will try to touch it into globally. Everyone is innovating AI, sustainability, and so also the digital transformation. We are still talking omni-channel, you know, in some ways. But reality on the ground in the Middle East, whether you look Saudi, whether you look UAE, whether you look smaller GCC countries, I am still to meet the CEO that will prioritize growth and innovation over the bottom line ROI. So maybe reality is that on today's panel, we will try to capture everything from the payments to beauty to fashion to grocery. And we will, you know, what my intention is that to really push these beautiful ladies to kind of give you what that success formula is when it comes to actually fighting in the boardroom, first of all, to get any budget for innovation, okay? Forget about this whole booming space on AI. No one is investing in this region yet in this AI, so maybe the ladies will tell us otherwise, and all of us can, you know, cut corners and go straight for that solution, you know, so to save that money. So Somi, actually starting with you. I think incredible career. Me and Somi met, I think, I don't know, 2013 or 14. Definitely it's been 10 years since we had and we obviously met to talk omni-channel, customer journey, and we still talk omni-channel, customer journey, right? And
we continue though.
We continue.
Yeah.
So can you kind of maybe share your experiences of such a rich history in one of the leading brands, you know, when it comes to fashion regionally? How do you, let's say, manage all the never-ending ideas that leaders in this region have, you know, innovation, AI, sustainability, we need to be more sustainable, we need to invest in AI, we need to introduce the latest, greatest CRM tool, and at the end of the day, at the end of the month, why I didn't make the revenue, where is the ROI, why the margin is dropping. So tell us, how does it work in your world, and what did you see when it comes to managing, I would say, the expectations from the shareholders, but at the same time, really trying to catch up with a global trend on, because if we don't innovate, we will be really left behind. So on this topic.
So I've been incredibly lucky to be in this region for 2 decades. I've seen meltdowns, rapid growth, and also the change, the forced change which is coming in. Now I'm in an era where the ROI is under magnifying glass. Everybody is looking at the ROI as soon as there is a tech investment. And especially with UAE and KSA, along with the other GCC markets, it's always the businesses want ROI quick. And it has to be a tangible ROI. It is not even an intangible ROI what they are looking for. So, But what I think is without experimenting or without innovation, we do not evolve. What does the audience think? Do you all agree with that statement? Can I see a raise of hands? Do you all really agree that without innovation, we do not evolve?
Yeah, may have to.
Okay, so at least there are some leaders who agree with me that innovation is non-negotiable and we really need to go into that space. So if we are not piloting a new idea, we are not evolving, for sure. You all agree on that, right? The key in my experience is to structure the innovation as it earns its license to grow. So that means, what it means is, if you bring an innovation, it should start performing for itself somehow or the other, so your organization is able to let it go without really going after you for your tangible ROIs, etc. So in order to do that, we need to really create a clear test and learn boundaries. How do we do that? So we choose specific business cases, okay, which is measurable. So do not try to innovate in spaces which are vague, which are, where we cannot measure. There has to be some kind of a measurement which we should be able to do. Tie KPIs or real business use cases which has a customer impact, which has a measurable commercial impact. So if you do an innovation and you try to bring in a new idea, if it has some kind of an impact which you can show to your shareholders, it will survive. I can tell you that. It will survive. And celebrate learnings, even if it is not perfect. Let's celebrate learnings. But we should learn where to stop. If suppose this particular innovation doesn't bring in tangible results or even intangible results, it is not going the right way you are thinking, we should be brave enough to stop. And we should say, yes, we agree there was a failure, but we will go ahead and find another solution. Get your shareholders on board to even celebrate failures, at least you tried. So that is the thing. So if it's learn fast, course correct fast, and scale only what works. That's the principle I would follow in the region. Now, in order to balance ROI, I would look at it in two lenses. So one would be definitely the bottom line, which all shareholders are interested in this bottom line. And then how much does it make you future ready? So if suppose an innovation is brought in and it makes you future ready, that is the direction you can point to your shareholders, to your investors, to say, this is the advantage of the non-tangible ROI, what it brings. So definitely that's the way I think we should drive any kind of innovation. But again, the most important point is, any innovation, if you see it is not going the right way, have the courage to stop. And let's course correct. And let's be brave enough to say, yes, we failed, but we try again. That's it. Thank you.
I would say brilliant thing, I would say let's try, and then if we fail, like in a startup scene, we always kind of highlight you need to hire very slowly but fire super fast, okay? So I would definitely add to your brilliant statement and say that even if you hired people to do that innovation, whether the agencies, whether external, whether internal, if it failed and you can't find the position, just hire, definitely I'm with you, but sometimes we as leaders here overthink the initial cost, what if, and we actually don't end up even doing it, because we are, or maybe it will be, but the way I approach is like, okay, we will fire if we have to, but at least we tried, and if we failed, we failed. So brilliant statement.
But sorry, I wanted to say one more thing. Even the biggest company in the world, the Google, they have a graveyard for all the failed projects. So we are not alone. So, there is no reason why we shouldn't innovate. You can always tell if Google could fail, we could also fail.
Yeah.
So it's as simple as that.
Cindy, over to you. So you lead, we all of us in this room, I assume that we are somehow related to retail in one or another shape or form. So we all probably, retail cannot go without logistics, whether it's B2C, B2B, e-commerce, no e-commerce. We are absolutely dependent on the players like you in the market. And here we are talking innovation globally. The subject of this is how purpose-driven innovation. And I'm sure all of us here recycling, sustainability, we should do A, B, C, D. And every single board meeting I go on, whether clients, whether like my own investments, we all talk innovation. And if one of us would pose the question, who pays for it? The answer is definitely not us. We put it on the consumer, right? And then, as a consultant from the other side, where I deal with clients about, I see consumer needs, I said, well, consumer is not ready to pay either. So does that mean we don't do it? And I think logistics is one of those areas where we all want sustainable, whether packaging, whether sustainable way, route optimization. It's definitely, I'm sure it comes on your side, whether from clients, whether from your internal thing, whether you're trying to catch up with the digital, all the global trends. So how do you actually manage when we all, as clients of yours, ask you to be more sustainable? Because we want to tell someone that our suppliers and vendors are sustainable, but at the same time, we are not willing to pay for it, even if you say that kilo would cost you 0.1 cent extra. We're like, no, we're going to RMS. So how do you manage when it comes to sustainability, when it comes to global trend, and at the same regional demands when it comes to really ROI?
Thank you for asking me this question, and you are very correct. But certain changes what we had seen in the industry in recent time is, earlier consumers were more price sensitive. So while they were doing any sort of decision making, it was on traditional operational metrics, I will say delivery speed or only the price. But now when new era we are checking, customers are also mainly talking more about their decision-making criteria has been changed, where they are thinking that ultimately we are looking for the best services here. And also when in our industry we need to do any innovation, I am sure that if we are showing proper value proposition to our customers, they are actually ready to go for that extra mile. And it is all coming up how we are communicating with our customers from olden traditional survey to now acting as their service partner and their consultant, where we actually connect with them with emotional intelligence. We talk to them addressing their pain point. So nowadays everyone is aware that everything comes with a particular cost and nothing comes free.
Yeah.
So when you are demanding something, and at the end in supply chain, the cost is always passed on to the second level, third level and fourth level. So after proper communication, we had realized that certain costs are incorporated in their initial costing as well. So yes, we had seen that change here currently.
So basically you're saying there is hope that one day we will have actually sustainability as a topic, and there will be not just this conversation, but actually reality happening, right? Great, I'm glad, you're pushing that term. Doreen, over to you. So we are still kind of on that topic number one, profitability over experimentation, and I think you have a extra hard challenge, not to say that Somi doesn't, but Somi sells very unique, nice dresses, so I must say that sometimes we don't check the price because it is looking phenomenal.
No,
so
we are selling you a dream,
yeah.
So you buy the dream from us.
I am hooked, so I must say that even if whatever experience, yes or no, but when it comes to beauty, I think consumers are very now savvy in terms of yes, maybe you have some exclusive brands, but majority I can also find on your competitor websites. I can do it cross-border. When I go back to the UK, I can buy it even cheaper. It's basically, I think you have an extra hard job to say. So for you, even everything, if works, it's already hard on a margin, because you can't really pass that margin on to consumer. And here we are now talking innovation on top of this return on investment. And innovation in the digital space, I'm sure all of you will agree, is storytelling, it's community building. We all want to be good at beauty, right? And kind of like sing and dance on TikTok, and then at someday sell the company for billions, and then buy the company back, and so on and so forth. But faces cannot necessarily do that. So how are you prioritizing within Shalom Group, maybe within your sector specifically, this whole innovation element and what's coming next, and digital storytelling, community building, and whatever else, AI checking the faces versus ROI when it comes to really small margins?
Very good question, especially that I moved from a high-speed startup to the more corporate side of the business 1 year ago, joining Shell Group. And obviously, what we know is pure players are much faster. They have more resources, but for very different reasons. Because it's all about growth, as you said. Like, if you want to be an industry driven by growth, and growth at almost no questions asked, but doesn't exist anymore in startups, you are in the startup scene. But when you are in the corporate side, yes, ROI is very important, but at some point, if you are within a big retailer, if you don't innovate, you die, as you said. So innovation is also extremely important. And it's kind of a balancing act where we have some projects that have a very short ROI within 2 or 3 months. They have to start showing ROI, but we also are playing in the field of AI within something that will generate AI within the next year. So like very short-term ROI basis. We also have projects that are quite long-term and ambitious, but for these we try to break them down into smaller chunks to make sure that we're also on the right track, because you can get very sidetracked while you're trying to build, the next castle in the sky. And we all know what happened to the metaverse, right? And everyone who invested there, we're not talking about metaverse and panels anymore. So we're quite cautious about that. Same thing for AI. So we are building some things internally, we're licensing some things externally, but also for certain technologies and approaches, we just said, you know what? There's a lot of things mislabeled as AI now. There is a lot of things that are not really mature. The cost of building it now or even licensing and integrating now may be so high that let's wait 1 or 2 years and many things will change. I'm quite sure search will change on e-commerce. I'm quite sure discovery will change in e-commerce. Already search optimization is changing very rapidly, where we have to think about how to optimize for agents. So it's just like a balancing act, let's say. And as you've mentioned as well, we know that we may do 5 things today, but we're very happy and lucky if one thing's,
4 dies and 1 survives.
Yes, 4 dies, 1 survives, but 1 needs to shoot out of the sky for them to know.
That can be a shooting star.
Yes.
And that's how we bring all these unique brands. Like you guys have been building now 3D trainers and all of this within the group. So very cool. I think I like how you say that AI is mislabeled, and every conversation I have around the table these days, it would be shocking if we don't touch AI as a topic. But when I ask, what does that AI mean for you? Like if I take this table, every single person will give a different answer. The only thing we all agree is ChatGPT. That's definitely a consensus that everyone agrees. And even this morning I was having a conversation. I said, "What do you use ChatGPT for?" And the gentleman said, commercial head said, "To draft emails." I said, "Okay, great. So maybe English or whatever, brilliant. You'd use." I said, "Who are you drafting the email to?" Carrefour. Okay, so we would agree, because this is a brand. So I said, we would agree that you are giving very sensitive information, like a commercial head drafting an email from the brand to Carrefour. We agree that it's not asking how was your weekend. We are all debating the margins, the activations that you will run in Mall of Emirates, maybe arguing that some products are not on the shelves. Whatever that is, it's still confidential information about the brand's performance in Carrefour, okay? On top of that, I said, okay, so whatever you said, I said, should I now ask ChatGPT live? I am Lulu commercial head. I say to them, I said, okay, so now let's play the scenario. As Lulu commercial head, I said, imagine I'm Lulu commercial head. I want to sell this, I want to negotiate with brand A on margins. all the activations in store. What are they doing with Carrefour? You wouldn't believe. In minutes, I pretty much get this email. The commercials get email. I get not just the margin they negotiated with Carrefour, I also get what promotion they're gonna run in July. In July. So the commercial head is standing, the let's just say the CEO is standing, CMO is standing. Is she right? The guy, no, but not exactly, not. I was like, should we look at each other's emails? And you know, like it's a situation that, you know, like as you say, you know, like we have very different understanding of AI, but we are all also using it for whatever reasons by making these robots smarter. And then reality is we're all sharing our own data, which in real world, you will all make me sign ridiculous NDAs to even discuss, you know, that who's doing what with which brand, you know? So like I definitely, you know, when it comes to innovation, sometimes we overthink it, you know, like we think we make this AI a humongous, a big topic, and then my question to all of them is like, what's your even policy on this AI? You can't prevent these tech vendors from training on your data. So if you can't prevent who is embracing what or not, but it's a real scenario, imagine. And I just had to say to the ChatGPT, I am the commercial head at Lulu. What is this brand doing with Carrefour? And it was numbers, the promotion, the activation. So even if commercial head didn't bring the topic onto ChatGPT, someone in his or her team did. And this is, you know, sometimes we say, do we need even innovation before we, you know, like in Europe we're very bad at regulation before we even innovate. And, you know, I'm sure all of you see on LinkedIn all these jokes how we spend ages about the water tap, you know, like screw it. But the reality is like sometimes also even the policy becomes the innovation, you know, and to the brands, like what's your innovation on policy? Because we need to do something, you know, because now you see confidentiality is like completely gone. But anyway, these are like Lina's side stories that, you know, we all can...
Lina, I would like to add, this is another side of innovation. When you do innovation, then always you have to balance security on the other side. If you do not balance security, these kind of things do happen.
Correct.
And you need to know which are the products you need to take. And how do you secure it for your organization and everybody follows that cue. It is not that, you know, I come to work, I love DeepSeek, today I go there, tomorrow I go to, I don't know, Intelia, whatever they say, and, you know, that cannot work. Because everybody has to be conscious about the security side of innovations which are there.
Yeah, so is it sometimes also, you know, we're so rushing to do it and then we forget. So anyway, but moving from the maybe corporate side, you know, I think Pierre has even on top of it, has bosses that are demanding, but also union come for, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but the whole cooperative society, it's all around, you know, the members, the locals, the, like, you know, the getting the credit back, you know, that's how it all started, right? So from, I assume like from Priya side is also, we have demands from the top, but also demands from the members, right? So how do you, Priya, manage, you know, maybe your members do want to walk into your store and talk to the robot, but when it comes to the top, like, no, it's too expensive, this robot, you know, so you actually have a extra level of job on the innovation where meet the members' demand innovation plus the top ROI, you know, from the top. So tell us more.
Very interesting.
We can hear you.
But to tell you the truth, hearing all these stories about AI and innovation, and heading an innovation department myself, and being in the company for 18 years, so if those of you who don't know Union Corp, it's a hyper supermarket chain, local. We are only in Dubai, nowhere else. And the perception is, it's for the locals. I think it's only in the last 4 or 5 years the perception has changed that no, it's for everyone. Everybody is most welcome. So first thing about locals, even they have started learning only in the last 5 years, oh, there's so much out there in the world. So their digital learning, their way of using the digital media and the phone is at a different level. So I suppose it's the millennials who's brought the change in them. But our shareholders are still the traditional ones.
Sure.
So they didn't face much of a challenge. They didn't expect a robot to come there. In fact, they would say, where is that man? I want him. So even if you had a service of provider there which was a robot. No, where is that person? They wanted that particular, why you transferred him to another branch? So our innovation had to go a little different. So we had to make a balance between what is happening in the digital world and what is it that we can continue with the human touch. So I'll never forget the process of, say, self-checkout. So when self-checkout came for the first time in the retail arena, everybody, we needed to. It is the best thing to have. Yeah, but which of our customers is going to go and do a self-checkout? Their trolleys are, they don't have one trolley, they have two trolleys. And the number of items exceed 50. Which of the lady in the shareholder lady who is come with 2 maids and 4 children around her is going to stand and scan it herself? So we need to do something different. And that is where the innovation part comes in, that okay, we will provide him a service, or we have the counter helpers. So this trolley boy will be with the lady all throughout her shopping journey. So whatever she picks, he scans and he bags it right there and then. By the time she finishes her journey, she takes him, like he is the one who will escort her to the car, put the stuff in the car, do the cashiering there at that spot and walk away. So we could not do the traditional self-checkout, but we had to innovate it to a different way. Over the period of time, so this was say about 6 or 7 years ago when we introduced this. But now the next generation who's coming shopping is different. They don't want anybody assisting them anywhere around. So now we had to go in for the self-checkout, and we are constantly innovating internally with what is happening in the surroundings. So yes, there is a lot of challenge. It's not so easy. But now it seems, as of date when I speak, it's going to be much easier. Why? Because the people who are shopping are of the new generation. They want the newer things. They're more aware. They are more, digital friendly people. And now if we at Union Corp don't transform and innovate to embark this journey, we will be left behind.
Oh, very nice, so I think, lots. I agree with you, like in terms of, I actually, till I started working with grocers and they told me about Union Corp, I honestly thought you had to be a local and scan some card, to even get into the store, So I was just like, I didn't even try it, and until someone was like, no, you don't. I was like, oh, really? Okay, So then I think even like my nannies told me I was like, really? You don't need a card? Okay, but I think I agree that you guys are changing even the perception. I think you are communicating a lot more. That it's for everyone. And you don't have to be, show your Emirates AD, at the point of entry to the grocery store, right? So great, but I think it's a great example how you are even applying innovation, but also adopting to the customer demand for your brand yourself, So very cool. Jennifer, over to you. So I think you deal with, maybe give a bit of the intro to everyone who doesn't know ADN, but you guys are, from my side, they didn't pay me to say that, so just FYI, but they are humongous in America, if in the UAE, no one is scared, not scared, whatever, but in the US, these are the guys who to beat, okay? So they are absolutely insanely big when it comes to US payment market. Any of my international clients I have, absolutely, it's not even, I never have to explain what ADN does and where are they coming from and whatever. So it's a huge sort of, and the reason I'm giving you the spiel is because my question relates to that. So I think, Jennifer actually does see how innovation can have a lot of positive change and a lot of positive effects when you do embrace it, as Swami said, even whether you fail or not, but just even on trying, so maybe you can share a case study, whether here in the region, whether globally, where a retailer or brand took a risk, innovated, and it really succeeded at it, maybe shoot for the stars, and as some panelists mentioned, but also had a very positive effect on the brand itself, it wasn't just that we made millions from it, but actually we got closer to consumers, it was positive effect, it was positively received by the consumers also.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for that question, Lina. I think, well, one of the words that we have there on the title of the panel is purpose, and that's something that is very close to my heart. And actually, we've seen that, especially here in the UAE, and especially younger generations, really have an expectations when it comes to purpose, when it comes to social responsibility, when it comes to the values behind the brand that they shop at and that they support. So I think a great example of how we can innovate in that space is Adyen Giving. So Adyen Giving enables shoppers to give a donation at checkout, being that, for example, online or in store or app. And since launching it, we actually enabled businesses to collect $25 million worth of donation in a couple of years for charitable causes. It has no impact on conversion because it's optional, so I can opt in or opt out as a shopper, and no overhead from an operational standpoint. A great example of it is Prada. We work with them globally, and they actually rolled it out globally, as well as H&M. So H&M, in response to the earthquakes that we've seen in Turkey and Syria a few years ago, they wanted to respond very fast. And with Adyen Giving, they were able to roll out charity collection across 5 different markets in less than 48 hours. Before, it would have taken them weeks, sign contracts with charities, tie contracts with third parties. So they were able to be relevant, to really create a connection also with the consumer, that they wanted to take kind of like an active step when it comes to social responsibility and values. And also locally, we work with Al Shaya, for example, for the month of Ramadan, to really drive the collection of donations. So I think it's a great way to obviously show what you stand for as a brand, and we see the consumer that want more and more. But also create a long-term loyalty with customers and really like a deeper connection. So we're super excited about it, and it's great that it is an innovation, but it's driving something that goes beyond and kind of has an impact on society as a whole.
I would say it's a great example, and actually like really relevant, especially now, what we like. So definitely, I personally didn't know that you guys are doing it, so maybe you should talk a bit more about it. And I'm sure some of the panelists also didn't. So especially here, where let's say charities kind of like taboo in the first place. It's not really like what legal, not legal, I know, but you have to be approved, and it's like all these like NGOs. I'm not sure. I'm not in that field, so I don't want to give comments on it. But like sometimes as a retailer, even if you want to do something, you kind of not sure. Should I be collecting it as a retailer? Should I be doing it as a CEO myself?
Yeah.
And then sometimes I actually end up in a conversation where the board members are like, you know what? We'll just do it as a person, and then we will donate from the person, but internally everyone knows it's actually from the brand. But I have like a couple of startups even where the founders are kind of like sponsoring, like Erica, for example, like they sponsor like kids of football in Africa and all of this, but like officially it's not really possible to do it. So I think as you not just solve the collecting the donations, but also the infrastructure that needs to collect the donations and kind of like in a kind of official way, So
we do that for you, and you just literally have to click a few buttons to enable that. But also I think you can donate obviously as a brand, and brands do that. I think that's great, but you want to actively bring it also to the consumer, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's, as I said, an expectation that is there, and so it's an opportunity to meet that expectation.
Yeah. So continuing price conversation, continuing AI and continuing that, so we're going back to you, and we touched kind of on this, whether it's AI, whether it's automation, but the reality is we are adopting more and more technology when it comes to solving problems, maybe trying to push that growth. And one of the challenges that maybe some of us in this room, certainly me, always face is that we're kind of getting pushed by the innovation of these tools, like predominantly US driven, right? So they're coming by like my favorite, and it says like Salesforce, it seems like Salesforce knows everything about how it works in this region. And let me tell you, I told them in 2018, where's your WhatsApp API integration? And they were like, no one is using WhatsApp, Lena. And we were having about 1 million arguments about it. So till I actually went into the East, so like India or China side on the innovation and start taking technologies that like work on the WhatsApp APIs. The demand was here, and the big players were saying no. So you actually do represent like very well-established brands, so I'm sure you get, if I get 100 LinkedIn messages a day from the different technologies, you probably get 1,000 a day, from there is a new tool, a new thing and all that. So how do you actually, give us a bit of more detail from the CIO maybe standpoint, how do you select technologies, whether it's an AI, whether it's another CRM, whatever the next trend is, but actually match, like what's important for you to match very unique infrastructure in this region, right? Like UAE has a very unique set of skill sets, very unique customer demands,
Yes.
like very demanding customers, I think all of us would agree. What do you look at, is it the team, is it the tech, is it what, innovation on their side?
Okay, so to start with, I come from a luxury industry. And what is luxury? Luxury is about selling you dreams. I think everybody knows that. We sell you a dream beautifully across our stores, across our e-com sites. But today the customer wants much more than the dream. They want to be experience-led. So whenever we choose an innovation, we always try to see, is it going to be just a digital innovation or is it going to be an experience-led innovation? Now, when it comes to UAE and KSA, the customers are very digital savvy. They have high expectations of service delivery. It is very unique to this region. But culturally they like that personal touch. So we cannot take away that personal touch. So when you bring innovation or when you bring any kind of technology into the organization or into your business, what you really need to assess is this going to enhance the experience which you are having at your stores? Because today the stores are not a transaction point. They are places where customers come to immerse in your brand. That's where you story tell about your brand. So you cannot take that away with all the kind of innovations or any kind of AI or automation you would bring. So anytime we bring in any kind of automation or any kind of AI or any kind of technology for that matter, we always keep that perspective of the cultural requirement of this region where personal touch still matters. And it will still matter because culturally this region is built that way. So whatever you bring, the solution should complement that particular nature of business, what you have today. So it should enhance the experience, it should enhance the operational excellence in your store, but not make it, very visible. It has to be at the back end, and it has to be intuitive, it has to be graceful, because that is the nature of luxury. You're not loud, you're not this thing. So when a customer comes into your store, what the customer is expecting is that you personally still greet them, but they know that the salesperson know the personalization what needs to be offered. What is the kind of behavior they had offline, online, what are the trends they like, what kind of a dog they have in their house, what kind of bags they like. So these are the kind of things what the customer is expecting from the luxury brands. And therefore, when you bring this technology, this needs to enhance that experience what the customer is expecting from us. And on top of it, what is happening today is, especially in UAE and KSA, they've come up with these PDPLs, personal data protection laws, and also the UAE Vision 2031. So these kind of things also put additional pressure on us. So in order to, kind of see compliance, ensure, because the customers are getting very educated. Sometimes the customer is more educated than the fashion advisors, or even sometimes at the back office when they talk to us, they are very well educated. So you have to keep up with these regulatory requirements. Also, you have to keep up with the customer knowledge, because the customer has a lot of arena to search nowadays the products. So many at times, many of the customers, they know much more than the fashion advisors. By the time fashion advisor is searching for the thing, they are already, churning out knowledge after knowledge. So these are the places where we really need to help the advisors to create that experience in your store, to bring that experience even in your e-com sites as much as possible, and truly bring that luxury out.
Yeah, I think we are very far from, how everyone's still debating if AI is changing the human. I think we are very far from it, and as you say, like, we will, I think, create more and more humans and as we go along. So Priya, kind of continuing the Soma's conversation and kind of going towards using, so the panel is kind of purpose driven, but we will all agree that in the grocery sector in this region is 365 days discounts, right? We have leaflets left, right, and center, and who has a better price, possible, okay? And then on top of it, we compare with Amazon and so on and so forth. And now we're seeing that ChatGPT is going to release the option where you could even shop on your behalf when it hits a certain price. So basically, what it looks like, the price is not going to go away, and we're going to get more and more price cautious. And then, so you have to manage price cautious, at the same time somehow do purpose driven, and at the same time drive traffic into the stores and build that loyalty. So tell us more, are you using technology to do that? Are you, like as Swami was saying, like, I'm just trying to kind of enhance experience of the store itself and maybe make my fashion advisor smart and faster using the technology. What's important for you as a union comp? Is it just the sale, just get them in fast, let them buy? Or you also on top of it saying, okay, how can we make sure that we're also giving back, building that loyalty? Tell us more about from your side, from the grocery.
I don't know whether you were mind reading a couple of days back, because just a couple of days back in the XCOM it started off, it's all about price. Customer only sees the price, and now digitally he just finds out where is it the cheapest and goes out there. Then we have disruptors like the quick commerce, so the Talabat and the Deliveroos of its kind, which fulfills the part that no need to go anywhere at all. I don't want to go into traffic. It's too crowded nowadays. It's disgusting to be on that road. I don't find parking. I rather call it Talabat or Deliveroo. So that's the next disruptor. So first is a price game. Then is this kind of a disruption. So what do we do? And you know what? I, being head of that innovation, my first statement, let's ask AI what we should do. Go to ChatGPT and ask, what is it that we need to do? Should we hit on the price? Should we collaborate with more aggregators? Should we do something else to get that consumer insight? So what is it that we should go and So the reality is really harsh for, I think, groceries is something everybody needs. So we are not going anywhere, we stay. You still have to eat. But now we need to go into a different way of how to offer you what you want to consume and what you want to use in your house, or what you want to use for your own self as personal care, right? So things are being discussed. Yes, we need to go a little out of the box. A lot of different discussions, and the first discussion I remember maybe about 4 years ago in one of the retail summits, where we said food to go is a disruptor. Like, all grocery stores now have food to go. So, ready sandwiches or ready tacos or ready samosas, whatever your like is, just pick it up and walk away. And we said, we're going to come up with a new concept where we'll give you ready to cook, which was an excellent concept, and it's now coming back all thanks to the social media, where you can put your Insta story that I have everything ready, just bring it. So you have the recipe, you have how to do it, you have everything cut in the right order, just get your pan heated and go for it, right? These kind of things are also now getting more and more disruptive, because thanks to the cloud kitchens. The cloud kitchens have fulfilled this part as well. So now groceries have to go one step further. What next? F&B is taking over. The food is not being, so how is it that I'm going to reach that consumer? And I think I'm going to ask this question to ChatGPT after your story about how the commercial head can do it. Why not? We might as well ask ChatGPT because everywhere I keep seeing a reel. What is this? Gen Z is setting up a company in 2 weeks' time. What are you guys waiting for? So maybe I'm going to do that myself. Check it out with them and see what it is. But again, as Somi said, what is happening is how we absorb is very, very crucial. You just can't blindly go and absorb everything that's happening around you. So we have to be careful how we utilize this information and where we lead it to. But I'm open to ideas as of now. Rain is already, because it's just 2-day-old, what is it that we need to do to bring that consumer in? Of course, loyalty helps. How much of gaming can you do? How much of discount can I offer you? So it's a story of collaboration, where I feel now it's time that the retailers collaborate among themselves to kill this pricing game. Otherwise, the consumer is going to rule over us, and it is happening already. So those of you who come from a hardcore, hyper super backgrounds will notice what is currently happening in this market.
We are also consumers, don't forget.
Exactly, me too. I'm not gone anywhere. I too have need the food. But what happens in this situation is, not as a consumer point of view, I'm talking business point of view. If we don't collaborate, that means the supplier and the retailer and the delivery don't get in collaboration, the consumers are going to rule on to us. So we need to look into better ways of collaborating in the business to make sure that it becomes a sustainable story for everyone.
You know, as I bring stories to every answer, last week's example to your point, it's about midnight. I decided that I need Ben & Jerry's ice cream, peanut butter flavor, okay? I started Googling every single Deliveroo and every single premium thing I pay for, whichever premium I pay. No one has peanut butter ice cream. Somehow in the moment, Kareem sends me a WhatsApp, a message saying 25 dirhams off Kareem shop or whatever. Until that moment, despite I'm a Kareem user, I have not shopped Kareem groceries, okay? It never, came to my head, to be honest. I would be more Insta shop on grocery or maybe Carrefour's 1 hour or Amazon, whatever. It's midnight, and I say to my husband, I said, do you really think they will deliver me peanut butter ice cream from Ben & Jerry's and they will give me 25 dirhams off on an ice cream that cost me 37 dirhams? This is a conversation at midnight, and my husband's like, no, you don't need ice cream, we are going to Greece in 2 weeks, and I was like, no, it's not the point, John, it's not the point. I said, look at the commercial angle. He's like, don't you get it, it's loss making. Anyway, I was like, let's try. I have zero expectations that my ice cream will arrive because I was like, it's impossible. How can they give me 25 dirhams off for free delivery because I'm this Kareem Plus or whatever else? You wouldn't believe. At midnight, within 12, I live on the Palm, and I think they have a dark store just like at the start of the Palm. Within 12 minutes, I have a Kareem driver standing with my Ben & Jerry's ice cream at 12 minutes past midnight after me ordering.
Costing you 17 dirhams?
Yeah, costing me. I was like,
that's brilliant.
I said to my husband, now I am hooked, because I love the Ben & Jerry's ice cream, and it's not always Carrefour doesn't have, most of the retailers don't have my flavor,
Now I'm thinking, what is it that we need to do to make sure that the customer doesn't get that ice cream?
So imagine that, I was like, I am hooked. Since last week, I bought 3 times the Ben & Jerry's ice cream. To the point even my dad was like, Mami, are you hooked to this ice cream? I was like, Tessie, it's just too easy not to buy it. Because before when I work hard, I was like, oh no, it's midnight. How will I go? How will I order? What? I was like, oh my God. Now
This is the experience we are talking about.
I'm so hooked. So if you see me double the size next time you see me after the summer playing the Kareem, and I even said to my husband, maybe my fitness bill needs to go to Kareem now because they made it too easy for all this junk, to eat it. But anyway, exactly to your point. It's also as a consumer you get so hooked that even whatever made it hard to buy, you are now not sure how not to buy.
The expectations of the consumer is so high now. Okay, if not Carrefour, Spinneys will give it. Or if not Spinneys, I'll check on Amazon. If not Amazon, Talabat will have it. And then Kareem will give it to anybody. So they're not loyal to. As consumers, the loyalty is nowhere. The loyalty is now who is giving it me, who is bringing it to me quick, who is bringing it to what I want, and who is giving me the best price.
Yeah.
So loyalty is nowhere.
No.
Yeah, so
there
which
is
means now we
loyalty.
need to create a different kind of a loyalty among the retailers, that okay, at least we need to be loyal to each other and make sure that we do some kind of capping. We understand how this works and make it happen.
Oh, I can't wait in this region, you know. Some of us are not even friends in this region when it comes to even friends, you know. We the first question I see there, everyone, you know, luckily no one is Lithuanian, so I don't get asked where am I from, you know, because there is no Lithuanians. But everyone else, oh, you know, where are you from, which city, which university did you go to? I'm like, guys, you know, we need to collaborate from the retail side, but we even start, you know, where, you know, it's so rooted here.
It's a dream. I work for a co-op. I don't know how many of you know. In UAE, we have 13 co-ops. Okay? And we are only 7 emirates. As per the regulation, each emirate should have its own co-op. Right? So 7 co-ops ideally. But we are 13 co-ops. We used to be 17, but Tamimi and Alain Co-op and Abu Dhabi Co-op combined, so we became 13, right? So if we are 13 co-ops and the co-ops are not united, forget getting united with other retailers. So what I said was just, how do I say, a fiction. I would not even say a dream, I would say it's fiction. Definitely not in this lifetime, it's going to be.
Continuing the I would say cooperation and continuing that topic, you know, we can talk here like, you know, see, this is the problem when you get all females on the panel. You know? we might be like, you know, if you're waiting for that wine, it's still waiting, you know. Yes, Steve is like, I already, you know, when I saw Lena on stage, he's like, I'm already. And what they're doing, that all the levers that they don't use, all the bags that they don't sell, unfortunately, still not going on a discount, despite, you know, all of us waiting
No,
for
because they burn it. They don't
now
give you
they
on
burn it,
discount,
exactly.
they burn
So
it.
they're not going on discounts, no, because my thing when I saw, oh my god, you know, sustainability, I was like, wow, maybe they will start discounting it. No discounts yet, but they are starting to collaborate with market leaders when it comes to recycling the unused leather or the bags that are kind of, you know, not sold. So instead of, so towards the sustainability, so for them, first of all, I never thought that I will ever see Chanel and sustainability in one sentence. That's a statement number one. But second statement, I never ever thought that they will embrace startups when it comes to, you know, kind of solving the problem, you know, because they just think they are top of the world. So I think Shaloub also being in that sort of luxury segment, you know, and kind of leading to, you guys work with a lot of different brands, you know, what's your take on that collaboration, and also whether collaborating with some of the, like you own the franchise, you know, like the parent companies, and helping maybe smaller luxury brands enter the market, whether collaboration and helping startups to grow in the region. What's your take as such a like elephant in the room as Shaloub Group? What's your take in terms of collaboration?
So obviously I'm not the one responsible for it, but I can say that I'm very proud that Shaloub has a very nice ecosystem built around it. So on the SDG side, we do have a 2040 commitment to be zero waste neutral and 2030 zero landfill waste neutral. Obviously as well, the brands within Shaloub each have their own sustainability strategy. As an ecosystem within Shaloub, there is an innovation hub, obviously, and the greenhouse, which is like an incubator for brands and startups, mostly around the retail ecosystem, obviously, to add value within the ecosystem and to strengthen Shaloub. It's a very nice, let's say, part of the business that's more startup-like, more innovative, and obviously helps the group to be on top of certain trends.
So you are doing your part basically, right? Are they responding, like the market? Anyone else is copying you, following you?
I'm sure the other groups will be on top of it. I wanted to add to the previous discussion actually, because pricing and promotions is a pain point for everyone. So we look very deeply at the customer insights. I think very often as retailers we get scared by what we hear from the market or what we hear from the retail teams. For example, one of the most common concerns of the retail team is e-com is stealing all of their customers. And somehow it's our own e-com, not other e-coms or competitors that are pricing lower. God forbid we have one promo code on the website. So we had very deep actually studies around customers and customer cohort. You will not believe how many customers buy full price. You will not believe how many customers, even when the promo code is in their face or sent to them on WhatsApp, buy full price or actually come to the store instead of shopping online.
One of them is my husband.
Yes, my husband too.
My husband, despite, so we work at Sakur. Like my husband is a big Sakur thing, and I'm like, I will give you Sakur like employee discount. No, it's too complicated, too long, too things, like, forget it. So, men never use discount. So I think if you do analysis, never.
Exactly. So the idea is like, try to understand the customers and the customer cohorts and build whatever you're building for your customers, because sometimes we're overthinking building things for other customers, doing discounts to attract the wrong customers, by the way. So we've done some price experiments, and at some point, like there was a big debate, free delivery on very low order values. So I took a very bold decision and said, you know what, if we analyze all of these orders below X are loss making for us, why do we need these customers? They have to pay a service fee, so I copied that from Karim. And let's make sure free delivery threshold keeps going up. What we noticed is we didn't lose money. We actually made more money. We saved our margin bottom line. We saved cost on delivery that we're going to these customers that are buying nonsense for like 60 dirhams. And sometimes you have to really look at the data from a different angle, not be driven by fear, but actually be driven by experimentation, commercials, knowing the customer that you want to attract and not necessarily saying, oh, I'm so worried about the customer that's going to buy 5 dirhams cheaper. We've also done experiments as well in my previous businesses where we make things more expensive. So testing the, let's say, elasticity of the price. And we noticed that for some brands like Chanel and Dior, even if the price goes up, the sales don't decrease. So let's innovate in that direction too. Why are we always innovating towards eroding the value? Let's innovate in a place where we actually bring more value to the customers.
But I think for that to work, you need to be like a strong management team and not scared. Like someone shouted that you get fired in this region. Everyone is scared even to go on this because they're scared to get blamed and get fired. Which is also like really constraining the innovation, on that. So on the price up, I also 100% agree with you. I now in some of the maybe competitors, we are looking for electronic shelf labels, and not because we're gonna go down on price, and we need electronic shelf labels because we're gonna go up. We're gonna go up in certain stores in certain areas because we have to. We have to.
And I again agree with this because I'm not a core e-commerce person, but I initiated e-commerce in Union Corp, so I'm the one who initiated it. When we launched e-commerce for the first time in 2018 when the online store opened, at that time Carrefour was at its peak free deliveries because that's how they had introduced and they had actually created the buzz. There were no Talabats and Deliveroos in those days, so back in 2018 it's Amazon, Noon, few players who had actually embarked. We were the last to join that bandwagon. And I made only one rule, no free deliveries. And the whole company was against me. Why? Carrefour gives it. I said, okay, go shop in Carrefour, who's stopping you? Then they said, yeah, but then things are not the same price. I said, okay, so either you get the price or you get the free delivery. Choose which one you want. So each one will make their money some way or the other. So now whether we talk of Talabat or we talk of Deliveroo, it was initially just a delivery fee, then it came a service charge. Now it is saying if you want it in 45 minutes, there's an additional charge. The pricing on that is definitely not the same what you will see on a Lulu, Union Corp or a Carrefour app. So everybody is making the money. It's just the way the consumer sees it. So I'm a firm believer that, and we did the same study. Did it affect us if so we did it as a trial, that let's do free delivery, let's see what happens. Did it increase my number of orders? No. Did it increase my basket size? No. Then why am I doing a free delivery? I might as well stick to my charge delivery and at least maintain my bottom line, which was more important, and give a better visibility to the customer to bring in more products and a better assortment. So I think it's just a way of how we present ourselves out there to the consumer is more important than just hear from everyone and say, oh yeah, let's do this. Jump in here, jump in there. I don't think it makes sense. So yes, the way you learn, even we learned our lesson the same way. Things are changing, but if you keep sticking to the same rule again, it doesn't work. So whenever there's a disruptor, you need to do your testing, but maybe come back to your code again. So you keep moving and keep changing yourself accordingly, but don't change everything.
So continuing on that core, and the dream, as we said, we all want to collaborate. So maybe next question over to you. So you have from beauty to luxury to payments, fintech to grocery. And so if we now continue dreaming and we continue on collaboration and all of us decide to collaborate, like what do you think in terms of the collaboration could look like? What would that help for you for the logistics side? Because you work technically with all of us in one or another capacity. What can we come up with? Is that we will increase the sustainability initiatives? Are we going to get better at faster delivery? We're going to store goods in each other's warehouses? How does that collaboration look like when you approach it from the logistics standpoint?
What we are noticing now, whether it is luxury, whether it is beauty, whether it is retail, e-commerce, everywhere logistic is playing really vital role. So let's say if I talk about optimization, we are actually helping many e-commerce company where they cannot afford to have their own warehouses, where we are coming up and we already have 26 warehouses to make sure that we are giving them shared spaces. So maybe the volume is not that much and it will not make really great sense for a smaller SME who are doing e-commerce to have their own warehouses, because they are not going to do the optimum utilization of the resources. So one is we are helping e-commerce in terms of warehouse management, not only warehouse, also we realized it is not viable for them to have their own delivery team. So let's say maybe the number of transactions are not sufficient enough for them to add that as a fixed cost to their organization, where we are playing vital role by helping them to manage their deliveries, whether it is from B2B or B2C. So these are the areas where we see that we can do collaboration, and we are already, Shalhoop is again one of our top-notch customers where we are helping Shalhoop Group. So we are already working with different industries here. And what we had seen, that earlier era, the traditional era was more of a competition, what I believe Priya spoke about it. But now when we are looking from different lens, altogether we see that that era is gone. For us, it's already collaboration era, where it is much better that we have shared purpose and we are sharing the same journey. It is making more sense for the customers also, because then they are getting everything under one umbrella. And the future, what we are seeing is very soon, like it will be more of a co-creating era. That why to compete? Because one fine day there will be a threshold that nobody can go below their break-even or their cost. So it is much better that now collaboration and in future co-creation.
Oh, very strong statement. Thank you. And now I think we're heading for the last question from me, and I don't know, Dara will say to you if you have time for questions, but probably not. So Jennifer, over to you. Last but not least, but actually payment is the probably last step in most of the digital journeys, at least. And so you obviously collaborate with all of us again in a different ways. Can you share some of the examples whenever, how maybe ADM from your side, helps whether the brands to collaborate, whether you co-create something together with the retailer to kind of really create better experience for the end consumer and really improve the end consumer's journey, because maybe by yourself as ADM you cannot achieve that success, but by collaborating, whether with the retailer, whether the logistics partner, you actually manage to build better journey for us as a customers.
Yeah, definitely. I think, look, payments is the last step in that customer journey, but I think it's one of the most important ones, right? Like if you don't get paid, if you don't get that money from your customer, then I guess everything that happened before doesn't really matter that much. And I think payments is sometimes, I guess, misused, but also almost like misunderstood, I would say. We always think about payments as kind of like transaction level, right? It's something that gets the customer's money from their pocket into my bank account, and that's it. But it's actually much more than that. It can really give access to real-time, rich insights about your customers that you can use to then, plug into your CRM, your loyalty system, your inventory management to make smarter decisions. So it really actually holds a lot of value from a data point. And then, you can make decisions about your loyalty program, for example. You can link that. You can link your card, for example, your credit card, your debit card, and collect payments directly through the credit card to your loyalty program rather than having to scan a loyalty program app or something like that, right? And actually we're seeing that the retailers that are front of innovations are using payments in a more strategic way. That it's not just about getting the money from point A to point B, but really using it to get and capture data. So kind of what you were saying, Dareen, right? What are we seeing? Okay, why don't also we look at payment data, for example? What is that telling us? So it's really using payment in a more strategic way and thinking kind of outside the box. And you can only do that if you have the right payment infrastructure. It has to be open, it has to be clean, it has to be something that can be easily integrated in your existing tech stack. And I think when you have that 360-degree view up until the point of receiving the money, then you can really drive more actionable insights, and they can have operational impact and commercial impact.
Brilliant point. Are we still all awake?
Yes.
Yeah? Lena is finished with stories, don't worry. The next panel is coming next, I will not be talking.
You can have a few questions.
Yeah? We have time for the questions?
Yeah.
Okay, 2. Well, I can say to you that we are over time, but we started at 10:02, so technically we are 10 minutes over, right?
Yeah, that's all right. We can manage this.
Yeah? Okay, any questions? Yes.
So I have a question.
Hi, I'm Ankit. I had e-commerce for Sapur Brothers. I have a question for Darren. Like you were mentioning about your studies on customers buying on full price. I would definitely like to know what percentage of customers buy full price.
You can't say that.
That's quite confidential and also very different by brand, obviously. But what I can share with you is obviously online, more customers buy at a discount. But it's just the nature of the game that customers online, if you don't give them a promo code, they will take 5 more minutes searching somewhere else. Based on our analytics, they exit the app or the website, they search somewhere else, they come back, they try 2 or 3, 4, 5 codes, and then get frustrated and sometimes also find a better code with your competitor. So here the play is more like how to make their perception around they got a discount. It could be sometimes 3 or 5 dirhams even, but they're very happy to check out fast if they see a promo code somewhere. Whereas the offline customers, in a very predominant basis, so 90% up, shop at full price. And Also, what we look at is omni-channel behavior. So does the customer who shops full price online shop full price offline? Yes, they do. So again, this is what brings us to the fact that you need to look at your customers and their behavior with your brand. Obviously, it may be very different behavior with another brand. And then model the promotions, the activities, the value add as well. So it could be discount, it could be value add that you're doing for your customers based on each customer cohort. So this is basically how we're doing it. So for the price-driven customer, you have something, or you have a certain moment in your calendar, but also for the full-price customer, you have something that's more value add that brings them back. And also sometimes it seems like from certain data points that these amazing full-price shoppers don't really need any incentive. They just come to the brand and they shop.
Sure. Have you ever experimented with, for some of the premium brands under the group, matching the offline and online prices versus giving promotions online and not matching the prices in offline stores? Does it work?
I would say we have not done it in the group, but I know of some other experiments elsewhere.
I can talk about it. We do this. But we don't exactly price match because there is a very stringent criteria when it comes to price match between online and offline. And even offline as well, we do not price match. So in order to just kind of encourage the customer, what we do is we would probably give them a gift voucher. It's a kind of discount, but it's a gift voucher, or I would say it is more of an encouragement to the customer to say, yes, we value you and we feel with you, but we are not going to give you the same price.
I see. Makes sense. Thank you.
We'll count it as 2 questions. Sorry, Arjun.
Hi, my name is Arjun Sarkar. I'm the Vice President for Partnerships of Dubai Commerce City. Amazing panel discussions, great insights. Thanks to all of you. My question is for Jennifer. You talked about innovation, and you mentioned payments are typically seen as more of a transactional engagement. What kind of innovations do you see as ADN coming into the payment space globally, and something that the region can also adopt?
Well, that was actually one of the questions that we were meant to discuss as well. So there's obviously a number of trends that we see. I think one of the innovations that we have pioneered in the UAE here is tap to pay. So that's where you can use any iPhone device or any Android device and turn it into a terminal. One example is Prada. Globally, they've rolled it out. They rolled it out also here in the UAE. So for luxury brands, is fantastic because it really creates kind of a high-touch experience in the store, VIP clienteling as well. But then, for example, for a brand that has maybe higher footfall and wants to do queue busting, think of a Union Cup, right? You can use it to, well, first of all, cut the cost of a high or big fleet terminal management, so you don't have to have thousands of terminals lying around, but also, again, go around and check out customers wherever they are in the shop. So that's an innovation we have brought here, and we're seeing a lot of interest for it. But then also, again, touching upon maybe AI, we are definitely innovating that space. It's something that we're using throughout our platform to reduce cost when it comes to payments for our merchants, to optimize acceptance, obviously conversion, but also fight fraud and manage risk. So that's something that we feel very strongly about, and we're rolling out across every transaction that we process for our merchants.
Yeah, just to add to that, ADN is one of the only payment providers who uses AI to fight the fraud. And and detect any kind of anomalies in payments. We are not using ADN, but I had actually experimented with it. And it is not because of the product itself; it is because of the geographical locations why we could use it.
I mean the power, I guess, as you said, like fraud obviously is a huge topic, right? Especially in the region. And being a large company as we are, we have access to trillion of data points of customers all across the globe. So we can leverage that through machine learning and know, okay, this person shopped here and there, okay, they can be trusted, especially in, you know, recurring scenarios. For example, when someone is coming back to your store many times, maybe they don't need to go through 3DS and the OTP authentication because we know this is a safe shopper. Someone else, well, we know they did a fraud attack somewhere else in the US or something. Okay, let's block them even before they can try to shop with you. So yeah, that's very much a use case that is top of mind for a lot of the businesses we talk to.
I love when they remove my OTP. My goodness, best.
No friction.
Any more questions? See, we're very good students now. You said 2 questions it is.
Thank you so much.
All right, can we give a very big round of applause for the beautiful and very smart ladies? Thank you. Now where is our photographer? We will stand for the photo so Darren can use us to fill another room for the next